Hello and welcome to an FC26 finishing tutorial. I know that there's a lot of people online right now that are unsure on the best way to score in FC26, and hopefully this video will help you if you're either new to the series or returning after a couple of years, or just unsure on exactly how to score the most goals in FC26. The footage you see currently is just some B-roll, just for me to introduce the video and talk briefly about what it's going to cover, which is going to be centered specifically around the low-driven shot today. There's also a couple of clips of the chip shot in there, but the primary focus is going to be around the low driven, which for anyone that doesn't know how to perform the low driven, you need to click the shoot button, and then you also need to click the shoot button a second time before your player performs the animation. It's exactly like timing a shot from last year, although that feature has been removed. The button combination still exists to perform the low driven. For me personally, it's without a doubt the most consistent and highest percentage chance of scoring goals in and around the box, which I know has some disagreement from other players. For those of you that have clicked this video and are more familiar with Tom Lees, you may have seen his tweet where he essentially said that he believes finesses are the best chance of scoring. That's not something I've found. However, that could be due to a difference in the use of players. Players with finesse plus and finesse silver could essentially be better at scoring those types of chances than the players I've used. But right now you're seeing on the screen a clip in 0.5 speed of Pulisic essentially performing a low driven into the far corner. I've slowed down some clips and I've kept most of them at normal speed just so you can see the clip in both aspects. What I want you to keep an eye on is essentially how consistent it is. And whilst I haven't necessarily showed any misses, you can see from sort of the scores and things, this is really where the majority of my goals come from. By no means am I the best player in the world, but I have hit Elite Division ever since it's been a thing. And last year I had a couple of rank 2 finishes, never quite rank 1, but consistently could get rank 3 no problem. What I do genuinely believe at the moment, in the current state of the game, is that low drivens in and around the box are the best way to score goals, regardless of what division you find yourself in and regardless of which cards you have in your team. So Ekatike, which is my striker in these clips, which you'll see scoring most of the goals, he doesn't have low driven silver, he doesn't have low driven plus, he doesn't have finesse plus, he doesn't have finesse silver. He does have chip shot silver though. So you'll see a couple of chips scored from him, which are excellent this year. As you can see, the clip started to slow down. Here is Ekatike himself, and it's low driven into the near post that time. But you can see from the 2 goals that scored already in the video, the keepers have a really hard time saving them. And at least until we get a game patch, I don't think there's going to be any reason to expect this to change. I really would recommend practicing them, because with there being the button combination for timed finishing, sometimes what will happen is you'll be too early on the button combination. Sorry, not too early, too late. And if you're too late, it'll just perform a normal shot, and it will rise off the ground. And I find that those are easier for the keeper to save. So I really recommend getting your timings down to be able to perform this shot type. As the clips sort of progress, I'll continue to point out, or continue to highlight that it's in a variety of ways in which the goals are being scored. You can see here, quite open, quite central. Keeper movement helps, but it doesn't really matter. I believe even if he moves the right way, the goal's still being scored. And yeah, I really do think that you should really be prioritizing this type of scoring within your gameplay. The gameplay that you are watching, and here's another clip from Pulisic. He moves completely out the way, so of course you're probably scoring that regardless. But the point still stands. But as I was saying, regardless of your division, regardless of the cards that you're using, I do believe this is your best bet at scoring goals, at least until you can upgrade your teams and get better cards with better play styles, which I don't think there's going to be much difference this year compared to last year in terms of how the game is based. It will be a play style game. And here's an example of why I believe other shot types are inconsistent. You just saw with Lamine Yamal, which is, he's 10 times more expensive than anyone else in my team, and he misses from that angle with a finesse shot. The clip that you've literally just watched occur is the chip shot that I was referring to. Now, Ekatike does have silver, which I did state earlier. He has silver chip shot. But you can see the height and the pace and everything about that chip is perfect. It's really a good way to score. in comparison to last year where it was almost pointless and you just couldn't do anything with the chip shot. You see another clip of the chip shot here. L1 step over just to beat a defender, get some space, and the chip shot then is perfect for a second time. So I really recommend having a look at your players, seeing if they do have chip shot silver or even chip shot plus, and trying to incorporate that where possible, because I do believe it's another way to consistently score. Nice bit of passing play in the clip that you just seen, finished off by Ekitike again for a low driven, and we moved to, I think, 3-0 on the day. I think because of an upcoming bounty, it only took me like 5 games to finish Division 7, which really, it takes no time at all. However, I think at the moment EA really have to reconsider rivals, because what's the point in playing skill-based matchmaking all the way up to, whatever division that you typically find yourself in for the sake of a couple of thousand coins? You may as well sandbag. I mean, I know you need to get Division 6, I believe, to qualify for the main FUT champs, but other than that, I think there's like 10k difference between Division 6 and Division 1. It's really not an amount of coins that should bother you if you are someone that wants to play the game with limited anxiety and stress. So I really think they need to have a reconsideration about the value discrepancy between the rewards throughout these sort of higher, mid-tier and higher divisions. But you got another clip coming up now. Pulisic into Ekitike. He gets it back to Pulisic, and it's low driven. You can see that he moved the keeper correctly, that he goes the right side. He moves him to the far post, and good movement, but it doesn't matter. The low driven still bails me out, essentially. I should miss that because he has read it very well, but it doesn't matter. Another clip I hear. Please leave a comment if you're suffering with unstable connection, because it's just plaguing 90% of my games. I don't think there's anything in particular that I can do to prevent it. I have tried, but I'm finding this game laggier than any of the other FC releases. As you can see here, we're just sort of dancing on the edge of the box. Vitinha, some R1 dribbling, and then calmly slotted into the corner, relatively similar to the goal that was scored prior to him. And here we have another goal coming up, just sort of doing what you can do on this game, which is spam passes in and around the box. Finally, drops to Pulisic, and we go low driven again, and you can just see the consistency. I think that is all of the gameplay wrapped up. I know it's only like an 8-minute video. It doesn't necessarily cover thousands and thousands of goals, but I don't think it needs to. It really just showcases the consistency of such a shot type. So that wraps up the video, and hopefully it does help you. If you want any more meta videos made, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.